Hello there, welcome to Penpositive. This is Vinod. Today I want to talk to you about study and learning. You know, there are many times we interchangeably use study and learning. But I think there's a distinctive difference in both those words. Now let me try to explain. When we are in college, in order to pass a test, you can study. You can study with the goal that when that question is asked or similar questions are asked during the test, you could write it properly and you could pass. But then learning is totally different. You cannot learn without the intention to understand what is written or what is told. Because the intention of learning is not just to pass any test. The intention of learning is also to be capable of explaining the same thing to someone else and making them understand as well. So unless you understand, you're not going to be able to make another person understand about it. So that's I think the basic difference between study and learning. And when you pass out of college and you build a career, I think it's very important that if you are at this moment mostly studying, you need to move towards learning. I would say that you don't have to wait for getting out of the college. You can even now start learning instead of studying. I'll tell you a small story. When I came to the US about 18 years back, I had a roommate, very smart guy, very good engineer. So he got this consulting gig. So he had to join the client side after about 2 weeks. And he got this opportunity as a business intelligence expert. He was supposed to be an expert in a tool called MicroStrategy. And the guy did not know MicroStrategy, but he was smart. So he had 2 weeks left with him. And would he study or would he learn? Apparently, he learned. So for 2 weeks, he learned the tool, he learned what business intelligence is all about, and he tried to understand. Because if he had studied, he would probably be able to finish off after 2 weeks, go to an interview, crack the interview, maybe get a job. But here the job was there. He had to go there and prove that he knew what he was talking about. He would probably also have to train a few people within the job site on the tool, on the technology, and if he did not understand, he was not in a position to train someone else. So it's very important that we learn with the intention to understand. Now study might have its benefits. If you have not done any work, the last few moments before the, not few moments, a few weeks before the exam, you can probably only study and get through everything so that you could just get a pass mark. Now another significant aspect of learning is that when I started my career, I was not a technical person, and I'm even now not a techie. I used to be in sales, I used to do program management, and I used to read a lot of these technical white papers, and I could not understand a crap from those. And that kind of impacted me. I felt so low on my confidence level because I'm not able to understand. And I'm doing program management for a lot of engineers who probably understands by reading the white paper. I went to a friend of mine, I asked him, there's a problem. I'm not able to understand what is written in these white papers and technical documentations. And he said, it's not necessary that you have to understand every single word and every aspect of what is written over there. When you look at it from a 10,000 feet above, you should be able to grasp, you should be able to make a sense of the content. You should be able to understand what is being written in there. And it is practically impossible for someone to understand that when they read it for the first time. But if you try to start reading white papers and technical documentation, because you're going to be in the tech field, irrespective of whether you are a techie or not, you're going to be dealing with engineers, you're going to be in the tech field, So, it is good that you get to read the white papers, you understand where the technology is heading towards and make your own sense of it. So, he said you are not going to get it in the first time, but if you make that a practice over a period of time, even though you are not an engineer, even though you are not a technical guy, you will be able to understand 80%, 90% of what is written over there. Enough to even explain someone what it is all about. Maybe you would be better off because you might be able to explain it in very simple way. So, that process of learning is something that never stops, but it is important also that you switch from studying so that you will crack an interview or pass a test, switch from studying into learning, because that is something that is going to go a long way for you. You know, when I read books, I always make notes in sticky notes and then I keep it in the book. And someone asked me the other day, why do you have all these sticky notes? Because that's the way I read some of the books. Because I have a goal when I read a book, especially non-fictional books related to management or related to technology, related to organizational behavior, anything like that. I have an intention, I have a very specific goal when I read the book. I'm reading the book so I can learn something new that I can use in my workplace or I can use in my life. So, there is a very, very specific goal other than the enjoyment of reading a book. And reading a book takes effort, and it's not an easy thing even now for me, because it takes a lot of time that I could have probably watched a movie, just slept or done anything. So you have to put that effort to read, and then in that effort make sure you have a goal to learn. So, this is my differentiation of study and learn. Switch from study and move towards learning. You take care, I'll come again.